And that's what purpose is all about. And that's how you can use purpose to get the most out of people, is you can make sure that what an individual is looking to do, what drives and motivates them, is linked to your team and linked to your organization. And if you can get that alignment and get that visibility as to why people are doing what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, then what they do and how they do it becomes infinitely better. Hi, and welcome to Helping You Perform. I'm your host, Paul Teasdale. Over a career working with high-performing teams from across the globe, including 7 years working with Formula One team McLaren, I've learned a lot about what it takes to drive results. In this weekly podcast series, I'm going to be bringing you tips, tricks and insights from the world of Formula One that you can apply for your organisation for your own high performance. Enjoy. Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Helping You Perform podcast. In this week's episode, I want to be talking to you about purpose. And I want to talk about purpose on purpose. And that will become clear. I hope you enjoyed the previous week's episode. So week 16, episode 16, was all about some of the technology. And coming from a non-technical person, some of my thoughts about the technologies that I saw in my time in Formula One, and what you might be able to learn from the difference between some of those things. So difference between modeling and simulation, between optimization and scenario testing. By getting that clear, how that can help support you and your team to get the best performance possible. So I was talking to somebody earlier this week in a workshop that I was facilitating about the world of F1 and how easy it was, because everybody was really clear as to why they were there, because everybody was automatically going to be an F1 fan. And I've shared this story a little bit before, or some insight anyway, in that I wouldn't call myself an F1 fan, partly because I know that F1 fans are very much fanatical about F1, but also I've never grown up with Formula One. It wasn't something that I targeted in terms of the organisation that I was looking to work for, and that was going to be my dream job, working for a team like that. I mean, it was a fantastic experience, but it came about more by chance and more about my drive for performance than it did about drive for cars and F1. But not everybody in that organisation was an F1 fan or that much of a passionate about F1. There's huge amounts of people who were, and lots of people who are really into Formula One as a sport. Now that gives you a really good starting point for aligning your purpose with the organisation's purpose. But it doesn't exclude you if you're not in that bucket. And that's what purpose is all about. And that's how you can use purpose to get the most out of people, is you can make sure that what an individual is looking to do, what drives and motivates them, is linked to your team and linked to your organisation. And if you can get that alignment and get that visibility as to why people are doing what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, then what they do and how they do it becomes infinitely better. And you get that disproportionate improvement in their performance levels as well, because they're clear as to why they're there and what it is that motivates them to be in that role doing what they do. And it doesn't have to be anything glamorous. You can be doing any sort of role. You could be doing an administrative role, a planning role. You could be in operations on the floor, being some sort of line manager, team leader. You could be in training and development or in a sales role. But what's your purpose? What motivates you to get up in the morning and do what you do? And how does it align with what your team's there to do? And how does it align with what the organisation's there to do? And if you can get that clear for yourself, then you are in a much better place, not only for performing and actually putting your day-to-day performance into operation, but also it changes your lens and it changes your viewpoint in the times of pressure. Now, the difference between pressure and stress, in my mind, is often down to your viewpoint on it. Someone who's under high pressure, you might have two people under high pressure, one of whom is very clear as to why they're doing this thing. and it's very clear as to their motivation as to why they're putting themselves in that position that is high pressure. And they thrive off that almost, and they use that to drive their energy and to help them get through the times of high pressure and to actually perform. Now, if you're not aligned, if you don't understand your purpose, you don't understand how it aligns to your team and your organization, then you are much more likely to view that pressure as stress, leading to burnout and all the negative elements that go along with that. If you're interested in burnout, by the way, and some of the advice and things that go along with that as to how to avoid it and how to manage it in your team, I can't recommend highly enough a good friend of mine, friend of the podcast as well, Jimmy Burrows. Go out to him. He's just released a new book on burnout and igniting performance. I'm not here to sell, but I will always promote excellence, and I'll promote people who help me to perform in my own right and share that with the wider world as well. So have a think about that for yourself. What's your purpose? Why are you here? What motivates you? And how does it align with what your team's there to do? If you're a leader, what is the purpose of your team? What's the purpose of your organization, and how does your team align to that? And help your individuals in your team understand what their purpose is and understand how that purpose aligns with the team and the organization as well. It's time well worth spending, because it gets people so aligned that you can actually just help people all row in the right direction and drive that performance that everybody's after. So have a think about this for yourself going forward. What's your purpose? What's the purpose of your team? What's the purpose of your organization? And if you're not clear, how do you get clear? Maybe get a coach. Maybe speak to others in your organization who you see being clear on their purpose. What have they done? How have they got their clarity? And once you've got that clarity of your purpose, share it as well. Let people know why you're there. It helps them to understand how to get the best out of you and where to go and who to go to for certain bits of information, certain bits of help and support as well, because that's why you exist. So if they can understand you and why you exist, they can understand how they can support you, but also get the best out of you as well. So take that action for yourself. Go off, think about purpose, spend some time, talk to yourself first, that self-reflection bit, but also talk to your team and talk to your organization as well. Get that clarity of purpose, and you will be on track to perform. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Helping You Perform podcast. If you found value in this episode, please take a moment to like, share, or review the podcast. You can reach out to me at any time, either through LinkedIn or through my website at www.paulteasdale.co.uk. I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode.